Hey, everybody, we are back for another grad interview. We are talking with Melanie, and I love these grad interviews because this is often the first time that I get to sit down and talk to our grads. Like we'll interact on in the Facebook group or through email, but just really sitting down and talking and having conversation. I'm having the conversation and hearing from the grads for the first time, just as you are. So we asked them kind of questions ahead of time, but this is a really candid conversation where it's a chance for you to hear from our grads, hear their stories, and a chance for you to ask any questions. So at any point in time you want to ask Melanie any questions about Pretty Focused or what her business is like, feel free to put those in the comments. So Melanie, why don't you start with and telling everybody, which is, I'm not going to lie, it feels really weird saying Melanie. People call me Melanie all the time.
Yeah, I get Melody all the time too.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Like,
So it feels weird. I'm like, so anyway, Melanie, why don't
yeah.
you start by telling us where you're from?
I'm originally from Washington State, but
Mhm.
I'm currently in California. So I'm
Okay.
enjoying all the super sunny days every day.
Yeah. Are you close to the beach?
I'm about a 15-minute drive. Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. How often do you get to go?
Oh gosh, I wish more. When the first year I moved here, we were going like almost like a few times a week, but now it's like hard to get my kids to drag them out of the house. Let's go to the beach.
Right. Well, now you're like a local, right? So now you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, it's the beach, whatever.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
biggie. You know, that's so funny. So tell me a little bit, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you were doing before you joined Pretty Focused.
Yeah, so I am a single parent. I've got 3 boys, and
Wow.
before Pretty Focused, um I kind of wore a lot of hats. I had done a lot of different things. I worked in childcare for about
Hmm.
7 years at the YMCA,
Wow.
and then I worked at an art studio. Like, what are those
Hmm.
paint and sip places?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, super fun. And I taught classes, but I also did like the bartending and whatnot. It was really
Okay.
fun. And then I went to school and I got my technical certificate in health unit coordinator, as well as an EKG tech.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
after I graduated and I was hired, I worked in the ER, and after 3 months, I couldn't do it anymore. It
Wow.
was just a wild experience.
I
And
bet it was sounds stressful. ER,
it
like
was,
it's
yeah,
stressful, right?
yeah, very stressful. I mean, I never worked in healthcare before. So that was
Mm,
like working in the ER, it was wild. But
mm.
I ended up getting a job at a camera gear company that I worked for. And that was probably around the time that I purchased Pretty Focused.
Okay.
And I lost my job there actually, but it was such a blessing because it gave me the time and focus to go through the course and really
Oh, good.
do something that I really wanted to do.
Right, right. Really focus on it. You have the time to focus on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you hear about Pretty Focused?
I saw it on Facebook.
Oh, excellent. Good to
Yep.
know. Those those ads are working. Like, did you see it?
Yeah.
Was it an ad or was it somebody else had shared it?
No, I think it was an ad. Yeah.
So
It was
what made you stop and say? Because I get ads all the time and I'm like, "Pfft, okay, whatever, keep
right.
scrolling. So how did you know that, like, what was it that made you say, yeah, I'm going to trust this company and I'm going to go for this?
Well, I just thought I love everything how you set it up.
Okay.
And and how you guys structured the support. I knew it wasn't just another group where somebody just created a course and you're on your own. I
Yeah.
really loved that how involved the admin was, you guys, and
Yeah.
how you saw us through from like the beginning to the end. And so that was really what drew me to it. I thought it
Yeah.
would be a
Yeah.
lot of support.
It is. I've been in those photography courses where it was just like, but I have a question.
Right.
Like, can
Yeah.
I ask the person, can I ask the person
Yeah.
who, so I just didn't want, or I've been in situations I was like, I was learning photography and then just people just didn't want to share.
Yeah.
And that was really actually discouraging for me as a new beginner
Hmm.
to not have anybody who was willing to share or just invest. I'm like, don't you like,
Right.
these were people that I knew, it wasn't just like I was walking up to strangers. And so there was
Yeah.
kind of like a little bit of a factor where it kind of stung a little bit, where there were just people who weren't willing to share or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So that's why we are big on the support and community, because we've been there where there wasn't, and we don't like how that feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you joined in 2018, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you are like one of the OGs.
Yep.
Really? We would call
Yeah.
you an OG, like an original gangsta.
Yep. I think I joined like a month after Redonda did.
Okay. Oh
Somewhere around there.
gosh.
We had been chatting about it. We're like, oh, we joined like pretty much at the same time.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I remember in your portfolio, I think it was a banana chocolate chip bread.
Yes. Yeah.
And I still remember those photos.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just remember being like, "Oh my goodness." And that was back when you graduated, what, in 2020 then,
2020.
right?
Yeah.
So it took you a little bit, but tell us why, because on average, it takes about 3 to 6 months for people to go through it. It can take people longer because life.
Yeah. I,
So what was that like for you?
so I was working full time.
Hmm.
And I am a big procrastinator. That's been like one of my biggest challenges as
Yeah.
a business owner that I've like really have
Yeah.
had to overcome.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was mainly just being a single parent, working full time. I knew it was something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Um, and so I had purchased it at the end of 2018 and I graduated basically at the beginning of 2020. So it was just a little over a year.
Okay.
Um, but I could have finished it. I mean, within a couple
Much.
months for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And now our process has changed just a little
Yeah.
bit
Hmm.
since you've gone through it. But what were other than time, like time and life aside, what were like some maybe technical challenges that you faced inside of Pretty Focused?
Um, I can't think of any. I mean, it's what I just loved how well you guys set it up. And I mean, I'm being completely honest. Like, I found it to be very easy. And then the support we got in the Facebook group, all through our portfolio process and, getting all that great feedback. And even like when I needed to message you privately, you're like right on, you were on
Mhm.
it. And so,
Yeah.
truthfully, I can't think of anything. It was just a great experience.
Did you know how to use a camera before you joined?
I did. So I did go to college for photography.
Okay.
I didn't finish though. It just I was having my kids at the time, and so I just didn't go back.
Okay.
But I did get a lot of like good foundational like education with it, and
Right.
I photographed all through high school. I took photography like any chance I could, so I had a
So
little bit
you,
of experience.
okay. Yeah, I think that's one thing that people, it kind of determines maybe how long it'll take you, is that if you've never picked up a camera before, and we certainly have grads who have never picked up a camera before, and they're doing really well. But
Yeah,
would you say that, okay, you don't have to have a camera, but what do you need? Like, is there like determination, like, love for photography, creative outlet? Like, what would you say you would need in order to do this successfully?
I would just say that like I really believe that everybody is creative, and we just kind of lose that along the way as we get
Mm.
older. You know, we're very creative as children, right? So if you're feeling like, oh, this is something I would enjoy, or, you know, I really love cooking and baking, I think just finding that creative bone again. I just think
Mm-hmm.
that would be the biggest thing. And
Yeah.
again, the way you guys set up the program, like you don't need to know how to use a camera. I mean, truthfully,
Right.
I don't even know I know my way around the camera with what I need, but I'm sure there's a lot of other functions that like I have no clue about. But
Endless. They're endless.
yeah.
You know, especially like the more pro level you get, like
Yeah.
there's more functions than you know what to do with,
Yeah.
you know?
I know my next
It's true.
venture is the video course. I have that one and I
Mhm.
need to complete it, but
Oh, yeah.
and then I
Yep.
need to learn how to operate my camera and video. So we'll see how
Yeah.
that goes.
Well,
I'm
that's
excited though.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you graduated, how long did it take you to connect with clients?
Within 24 hours. I
That's
was
crazy.
booking clients.
Wow.
It was
And
crazy.
back in 2020, people were not selling their portfolio then, right?
No,
Like, they weren't really
no,
doing that.
no.
Um, so you had people reaching out. Are you doing recreations or exclusives?
I've done recreations this whole time.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah,
so you
I had one client I was doing exclusives with, but another thing I learned in my business is like, or about myself, I just took on too much. And so,
Mhm.
which is a great problem for us to all have. Like, there's this abundance of work, you know?
Right.
And so I had to learn like what my limit was. And
Right.
so, I have 3 clients now that I've kept on, and I've worked with them since the beginning. So,
Wow.
yeah,
For 2 solid years, you've had 3
3
at
years.
least for 3 yes, for 3
Yeah.
years. So, yeah, it has been 3 years.
Oh,
You
wait,
have
no, I guess
had
it's almost 3. Yeah, 2.5 years.
okay, you've had these 3 consistent clients. I mean, you've
Mhm.
had more, it sounds like, but you let them go and just
Yeah.
focused on these. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. And you've done recreations for them the whole time.
Yeah, one of my clients I did crafts for, but
Okay.
we've transitioned over to, food, so
Okay. Okay. Now, tell me about, look at Redonda. She is in the comments cheering you on.
Oh, I
She
gotta
says
go to the
your
comments.
she's like, "Your photos are memorable."
Oh, I got
Sh
one
and
of
sh
the best compliments, one time when someone said, "Your photos look like Redonda's." I was like, "Oh
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. I love it so much. So what has because a lot of people here I love that you do recreations and that's
my
all
gosh."
that you do because we hear a lot of our grads, especially now, they're doing shops and they're selling their portfolio and
Mhm,
they're
mhm.
going for exclusives, which is great. Like what's really great is that everybody kind of can pursue what they want and
Yeah.
kind of pick and choose what it is that they want to offer based on what they're comfortable with.
Mhm.
So what has you've done a recreations. What has Pretty Focus allowed you to do?
Just, like, outside of the course
Just
and
like outside, like what does life look like now being a Pretty Focused grad and working for clients and having this food photography
yeah.
business?
The best thing is the flexibility, and, so I graduated right before the pandemic hit, and that meant all of my kids were gonna be at home.
Mm,
So, it was just everything just lined up perfectly where I was now starting this new journey, and I was working from home, and then my kids are gonna be home, and I didn't have to worry about childcare. So, that was amazing, and then,
wow.
I've been able to get into my own place with my kids, which has been like a long journey for us. And
Wow.
I wouldn't have been able to do that without, Pretty Focused. It's been amazing. And I've been able to start my investment portfolio. And yeah, it's
That
been,
has to feel so good.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now, are you doing anything else or are you just doing this full time?
I'm not, yep, this is full time for me.
This is it. Wow.
Yeah. I quit I had a part-time job. I quit. It's almost been a year now that I quit that job. And even then I was working full time. I actually had a bigger workload with my photo shoots I was doing previous to that. While doing a part-time job.
Oh my gosh. I bet that was
So
nuts.
it was crazy.
Wow. So, about how many hours a week do you work then?
I would say I'm probably around like probably around 25, I would say.
Seriously? That's it?
25 to 30.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something I'm working on.
Do you want
I
more hours or less hours?
less. But that's just strictly working on my, processes to make things
Mhm.
quicker.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and things, I mean, I took the mastermind
Oh, right.
course.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and so I
The
learned a lot in there, and I I've been able to get a lot of my time down, but,
That's great.
yeah, it's still a work in
It
progress.
especially when you have 3 boys. How old are
Yeah.
they?
My oldest, he's gonna be 14, and then I
Wow.
have a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Okay. Yeah. So you have a very busy household. So you've
Yes.
got to be as efficient with your workday as possible
Yeah.
because boys, I've
Right.
got 2 boys who are,
Yeah.
9 and 10. So I feel you. They're
I know, I'm like,
busy.
"Can I just take the summers off with them?"
Right? Well,
Oh,
maybe you can work up to that goals,
yeah,
right? Goals
yeah.
where you can do that. Oh my gosh. So working the 25, 30 hours, about how many recreations then are you doing a week?
I'm booked solid. So well, actually, no. I do 4 a week.
Okay. Okay. That's great.
Yeah,
And I mean, you are would you ever do more than that?
I would definitely. Yeah, I would
Okay.
definitely take on more, and I have, but, I got to a point where I'm like, "All right, I need to prioritize, like, my own
Right.
like,
Mm, right.
myself," and so but that's the amazing thing, like, I was able to raise my prices and, take on less work so I can have that balance in my life, so, yeah.
That's so great. It's amazing that you were able to get your prices where you need to, so you can only
Mhm.
do 4 a week, um, work 25 to 30 hours, provide for your family,
Yeah,
a place to live, start investing, and you're only doing 4 recreations a week. That's really impressive. And you live in California. Like, I'm like,
right?
yeah. So I just love that so much that you've been able to do that for your family. And what's great about this is, um, it's like if you wanted more, do you think you could get more? Do you feel comfortable like knowing like if I ever needed to bring in more, I know I could get
Yeah.
one more like I could just reach out to your clients to be like, "Hey, I've got one more spot." And they'd be like, "Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely, take it." Do you feel like that
Yeah.
would be an option for you?
Oh, for sure, because even with the clients I've had to, like, I dropped clients, and I also lessened my workload with them, so
Wow.
it's definitely an option.
My gosh. Yeah, that's what I think people don't realize is
Mhm.
that the extreme flexibility because especially when you are working with multiple clients, it's not like a one-to-one ratio. Like you're working with
Yeah.
3 clients.
Mhm.
And
And
so
I've never had a client that wasn't supportive of, where I was taking my business. So that's been a wonderful experience too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you found them right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And you've been working with them for that long. So yeah,
Mhm.
like we titled this like she's been working with her dream clients, and we're like, if she has been working with them for this long from day one, they've got to be some pretty incredible people to work with.
Yeah, it's
So
fun. Yep.
so what are some of the things that you have photographed that you love?
I've done some cakes recently, and it seems like it would be a big task to take on, but it really hasn't. And that's something else I've found. Like I've become more efficient in like my baking and my cooking. So that's been really cool
Yeah.
to develop those skills. Um, but I like everything. I hate cheese though.
Oh my gosh, it's the worst.
I did
When
a, I
they're
did
like,
a,
be
I
sure to
did,
get the cheese pull, and you're like, you just want to cry.
yeah, I was working with cheese today. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes, how am I gonna manage this?
Yeah. But I did
I've
buy a heat gun recently instead of
good.
using a hair dryer.
Oh, then yes, that makes
I
such a
tried
difference.
I tried that once and I was like, "Oh no."
Crumbs everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
It's don't use a hair dryer.
Yeah, no, don't use a hairdryer, that's for sure. I know, a while back, I photographed, like, a baked mac and cheese,
Mhm.
and, there were, like, lots of really yummy, gooey cheeses, and the first like, in my mind, I'm like, "Okay, I've gotta get the first pull. The first scoop has to be my cheese pull." And I did not like it. It was really
Mhm.
hard to do, and so what I found actually, once I had kind of scooped everything out, I actually managed to kind of maneuver my camera angles, and my very last scoop, of course, you still have to move quick, but the baked mac and cheese, it was still warm and hot,
Mhm.
piping hot, and it was my last scoop that I was able to really pull and get like the gooey cheese shot. So I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting." Because here we want to like rush to get it at the very
Yeah.
beginning. And really it was like letting it sit a little bit longer actually made the better cheese pull. I thought that
Yeah.
was
And I've
interesting
learned
too.
like several tricks, like having extra shredded cheese that you can melt
Yes.
and
Yes. Of course, everybody will tell you off the block though, right? Don't use the
oh yeah.
bagged cheese. Yeah.
No, it's
Yes,
always the same.
we have all learned that the hard
Yep.
way, I feel like. Yes, you don't wanna use bagged cheese because it has that caking agent in it, so, oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
even sometimes, using, um, different blends of cheese, like, even whenever I work with mozzarella,
Mhm.
I'll put in, like, a little I think it's, like, Fontina, because that's a little bit like,
Yeah.
stringier, you know what I mean? And so just kind
Yeah.
of mixing that in kind of pushes the drama over the edge just a
Yeah.
tad for the
Mhm.
photos. So there's little tricks that you can learn. Um, so would you say you do like a mix of like the sweet and savory?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a good mix.
Oh, good. I definitely love the baked goods. I feel like that's my sweet spot, no pun intended, but that's
Yeah,
what I love to do is like I could do cookies all day long.
right. Yep.
I could because I could eat the cookies all day long. That's like my favorite. So we have a couple of questions
Yeah.
that Redonda wants to know if you're still shooting with natural light.
I'm not actually. I moved to artificial.
Awesome.
I was doing a mix of it, just depending on like what my schedule that's flexibility, right?
Yeah,
Depending on what was going on with my kids, I needed to shoot later in the day, so I did have artificial lighting, and then I just decided to fully move over to it,
good.
um, just to have like that's one thing that helped me become more efficient in my time because then I wasn't having to worry about like inconsistent white balances.
Sure.
So that has
Just
been a real big help.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
Like all across the board, the
Mhm.
time and the freedom, flexibility. And now the artificial light masterclass is a bonus for everybody who enrolls in tier 3. So because we want to make sure everybody is starting off on with the tools and everything that they
Yeah.
need.
Mhm.
Not everybody has the beautiful sunlight like Arizona. So we actually have Lenora posted the link to Melanie's portfolio in the comments. So if you want to check out her portfolio, you are more than welcome to do that. Joanne has actually, Redonda had another question. Have you upgraded your camera since starting?
When did I
Are you
upgrade?
still,
No, I don't think I have.
you haven't upgraded your camera? You've been shooting on the same one?
No. Yeah, I even dropped it.
Oh,
It's the battery thing is holding on for dear life. But
that's so funny.
it's
Oh,
working.
that's funny. Good.
It's working.
Uh, yeah. Um, so what are some goals that you have for your business?
I definitely, want to increase my yearly income with it. And so that's where, getting more efficient with my time, that's, going to come into play. But also I'm looking at other avenues as far as like doing the videos, offering
Mm-hmm.
videos, and then selling exclusives too. And
Okay.
I've purchased both of those courses, and I've I know I could finished. I think I'm almost done with both of them. But
Good.
yeah,
Now
which is
would you go to your current recreation clients and be like, "Hey, do you want video?"
yeah,
Would
definitely.
be like, "Hey, I now do video." So, and that's great because then you have, it's like you didn't even have to go back out to the buyers club. You can just talk to your current clients then about
Yeah.
what they need. That's
Yep.
great. So Joanne has a question about pricing. And so I will say that, Joanne, we have updated our investment guide, and that is going to give you a more, with all of our 2020 grad survey results, and that's going to give you a better range of what people are charging for recreations. And so, Melanie, if you just want to answer, like, are you middle or are you higher end for recreations? Where do you think you would place yourself? You don't have to give a dollar amount, but where
Yeah,
would you place yourself?
I'm on the higher end, I believe.
Okay.
I
I
was
would think so. Yeah.
yeah. Um when I graduated, I believe it's been so cool like how much Pretty Focused has grown, and
Mm-hmm.
what we can charge for what we do is it from the time I started till now, it's increased. It's been crazy,
It,
honestly. I think the
yeah.
starting range was 65 to 85 when I started. That was the range at that point.
And you have to know, Joanne, that was in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 3 years, those prices have quadrupled.
Yeah. Yep.
They have. And the beginning of 2023, we saw some of the highest prices that we've ever seen for exclusives and recreations. And so our grads continue to kind of push those limits to see what we can do. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's people, there will be people that come in and buy,
Yep.
it's very surprising to see. I mean, it's not surprising in a bad way, but like, it's like, it's exciting whenever
Yeah.
you see that. You're like, yes, like we
Yep.
still haven't hit it, what.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty amazing. Um so yeah, Joanne, that is in our guides, the guide section, and Lenore can grab the link. She's working on it right now, getting that link for you and putting it in the comments so you have that so you and anybody else has that link to our investment guide with the grad survey results in there. So yes, what does video entail? So what does video entail? When you talk about wanting to add video, what does that mean?
So that's going to be so you have like reels, right? That's going to
Mm-hmm.
be kind of your quick. You could do it with your camera, but you can also do it with I do reels for one of my clients. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
starting out actually, but video would be done on your camera, and it's more I don't know how you would say it, more high end or more
We call it tasty style.
yeah. There you go.
They came out with this style, and that's
Oh
kind
yeah.
of, you know what I mean? Like the overhead, all of that. So
Hmm.
we call it tasty style videos.
Yeah.
That's how people refer to videos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I love seeing the tasty videos. It's pretty cool.
yeah.
Um so it's more it's you're videoing your shoot from start to finish like you
Mhm.
would a regular recipe and getting those good hero shots in with video.
Yeah. And that food video master class is a master class that we have available for our students.
Hmm.
So we just have a couple of optional master classes that you can kind of come in and take, because we've had, grads and students over time say, "Hey, I want to learn more about this. I want to learn more about this." So we have additional content in there that is available for purchase. Again, those are completely optional for you, but just different ways for you to kind of keep learning and growing and expanding your business. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, so Lenore just put the link to the 2023 investment guide in the comments, so you guys can be sure to check all of that out. Did you happen to see the grad results? Did you see any of the survey results yourself?
I don't think I did.
Okay, I'm going to have to make sure that you see those, because it's really cool to see what the community has been able to do and what like grads are able to do. They like
Yeah.
in 2021, we had like 13.6% of our grads make six figures. And in 2022, it moved up to 24%.
That's awesome.
Like
Yeah.
it's incredible. And out of those same people, if you look at like 2023, what they're projected to make, it was like 28%. So it was even going up. And then we're still adding in more grads. So not to say that like not everybody wants six figures,
Yeah.
right? Not everybody needs to have that. It's great if
But
you
it's
if you
yeah,
want to, you know what I mean?
it's
So
possible. You're
yeah.
changing lives.
You know what? It's really cool to see, because we didn't at $65 a recipe whenever I started. Actually, whenever I started, it was $45 a recipe, and we were
Yeah.
like nervous to charge 65. It's like, okay, this is going to be great supplemental income for people, for stay
Hmm.
at home moms, a way for them to earn extra income. And then people just were like, out of my way.
Right.
Like, I'm pushing the limits. It's so cool.
It is, yeah. It's
It,
so fun to see. That's what I love about the group. Like everybody's cheering each other on, and it's so cool to see everybody who's going through the course till their graduation and what they're accomplishing and just everybody cheering each other on. It's such a great experience.
yeah, it is. And so what are some things that you would tell people who are thinking about joining? Like, what advice would you have for them?
I would just say go for it. My like I mentioned before, my favorite thing about this course that you've created is just the support you give us, and now you have all these, you've brought on all these coaches, which is
Mhm.
amazing, and you see us through from the very beginning, you not knowing how to use a camera all the way to the end, putting us being able to be, you know,
Mhm.
introduced to clients. And I've never seen any other course out there that does that for you.
Yeah.
Um, it's just, it's amazing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
like I said, I can say it all day long, but because there really is no other course out there that's going to introduce you to clients. No other course out there where that many people are in the top tier. Um, and so I just think it's, if you like look at, actually, I don't think a lot of courses share those types of stats or those results. I don't
Mhm.
think they poll their people to find out what their income level is. I know, like, whenever you look at um, like MLMs, right? The top
Mhm.
percentage is usually like 0.5% of
Yeah,
people.
that's wild.
It's so small.
Yeah.
And so even like we've even started just kind of comparing it to like 4-year degrees, like
Mm-hmm.
what you can get, the income that you can earn from a 4-year degree is like pretty focused grads, like the median, we're still higher than what you can get as with a 4-year degree. And it doesn't take any time to pay off.
Yeah.
It doesn't take 21 years to pay it off,
Right.
you know?
Well, and that's the thing
You
is
know?
like they're not offering, a client base after you
Mm-mm.
graduate from college, you know?
No. No, no, I saw one for ASU is a big school here in Arizona, and so it was like, oh, you could, our grads get jobs within 3 months, and I'm like, 3 months, my
Yeah.
gosh, we're like 3 minutes,
Right?
24
Yeah.
hours getting
Yep.
clients. So, I mean, that would be pretty amazing if that happened for grads. So,
There was something
um,
else I wanted to mention too that I
yeah.
really love that you guys do is you never just stopped at, you know, just creating the course. It's always been a constant, okay, where can we improve or what more can we offer our students? And so I love that you're always looking for ways to improve the course or add things to it. While and you like you mentioned, you're involving the students in that conversation too. Like, what do you guys need? What do you want? And so that's something I really love too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, we are actually launching our recipe development track next week. I'll
Hmm.
like give a little bit more. We've been working so hard on that, and that is just going to be another level and another way for people maybe who aren't able to do photography, right?
Hmm.
So people not even within our community, people here, in the roadmap can come in and start learn how to develop recipes for food bloggers
Hmm.
and still get access to the buyers club. So I kind of got to give like a little plug for that too. We're going to have a different type of grad that's kind of coming in soon. And so we're going to be sharing even more details about that
Yeah,
later
that's
on. But
awesome.
yeah. Um, let me see. Does anybody have any other questions that they want to ask Melanie? Yep, Joanne, I agree with you. Continuing education is so important.
Yep.
What would you say, Melanie? This is a question we like to ask everybody: is if somebody were to say, like, when they ask, no, let me say this: when you tell people what you do,
Hmm.
what do you tell them?
I usually say I'm a food photographer, and they're usually like they're kind of speechless. They're like, "What?" And a lot of times they'll ask me, "Does that pay the bills?" And I'm like, "Yep." um,
Right.
and then I they wonder, okay, well, what are you doing? And so I say I work with bloggers, and I just photograph a recipe from start to finish. I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
You're like, yeah, no starving artists around here.
Yep.
Believe me, we eat
Yep.
plenty of food.
All from the comfort of my home. I don't even have
That's
to go
yeah.
anywhere.
Yes,
That's what I
because
love. I
you're
tell them, I'm like, I have a client in Canada, and I have a couple. I have one in Hawaii, and my other one is across the states.
oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is
Mhm.
so cool. And so then when if you were to describe pretty focused to somebody, if they said, "Hey, I'm interested in pretty focused. Can you tell me about it?" What would you tell them?
I would just say like this. It's the most complete course that you can purchase for food photography. I don't even think you could get this kind of material and education through college. Um, you don't need to know you don't need to know how to use a camera because that's you learn that. Um, you go through a portfolio process, which is amazing because it really fast tracks you from no experience to being highly experienced because of
Yeah.
all the support you get in the group. And then once you graduate, you get to be put in the buyers club. And that's where there's tons of bloggers in there that are looking for photographers. And so you get, that exclusive access to clients like right off the bat. So that's really amazing.
Yeah. I love that you even said that comment about you get more than probably you would at college because you went to school for photography.
I did, yep. And
Were there things that you learned inside the course that you didn't know learn in
oh,
school?
for sure. Yeah, definitely. I remember doing a food assignment, but it was not the detail, like what you learned. Like it was just kind of like a blip in college.
Oh, sure. Right.
So
Right.
yeah. But I've learned my way around my camera a lot better. And like the business side of things too, like just running a business.
Oh,
And
they don't teach you that.
no, no.
I
So
mean, what good is like learning photography in college without also learning business? It should be like create your own photography business degree. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
use a camera, but then who do you work for? Where do you go? Are you going to have your own business? Are you going to work for the journal? Or we like, what, where?
yeah.
So, I mean, I would like to think that they help you out some in that. I would hope that they point you in the right direction. I would hope,
Yeah.
but Joanne, she learned how to photograph beer in college. That is funny.
Nice.
Um, that's funny, Joanne.
I
So,
love
all
doing
right.
those glass shots, the backlit. I remember doing those in college too.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Backlighting is a lot of fun. I've been doing that like with casseroles and stuff because I just feel like it captures the textures differently and it makes it
Mhm.
well, you can just see the textures. And so I like to backlight
Yeah.
things. I'll try to throw a couple of in. Of course, I'm still natural light, so for me to do backlit, I just move around to the side of my board. It's a little bit more complicated whenever you're using artificial
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
But yeah, unless I'm sure Redonda has Redonda, do you have a quick setup? I know you talk about that in your artificial light class. Do you talk about backlighting? I feel like I should know this. Oh, it's not more complicated with artificial light. There you go. I stand corrected. Thank you, Redonda. I'm always so glad that you're here for these because you always share so much. So she does talk about that in her master class. But Melanie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
It's
you.
been really incredible to hear where you've come from, um, and where you're going. And
Mhm.
I love to see, you've invested in the mastermind already and how that's helping you with your business and like you're looking long-term sustainable goals. And we actually had
Yeah.
somebody last night ask us, what does this look like long term?
Mhm.
Is this something that you can do long term? Because they think again, it's going to be short lived. It's the blogging world, whatever. But people always have to eat. But
Yeah.
what would you say to that? Like, what are your goals long term? And do you think that somebody could do this long term?
Definitely. I mean, I think that's the amazing thing about our little niche in this photography industry is that, like you said, people have to eat. And I started at the beginning of the pandemic, and I remember like we were all little, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But it turned out to be, pandemic
Gangbusters,
proof.
right?
It was, yeah, it got crazy.
Where everybody was not no like the people were not working.
Yeah.
We were working.
Hmm.
And Pretty Focus took off
Yeah.
actually. Like we had so many people enroll in 2020 because of like they needed to start making money working from home and people always have to eat.
Yep.
I mean, you look at the pandemic, people aren't eating in restaurants. What are they doing? They're going to
Here.
blogs.
Yep.
Like in a recession where people are like, okay, well, I can't eat out right now and I need to find like pantry staple meals,
Yeah.
where are they going to go? They're going to go get the free recipes online,
Yeah.
and
And I see a big shift in people. A lot of people are getting back to like wanting to make those meals at home,
Mhm.
so
That's 100%. That's our family.
yeah.
100% where we
Mhm.
would eat out a couple of times a week. Your grab takeout or, life is busy, right?
Mhm.
I swear we have eaten out like a handful of times since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
it's like I would just rather eat at home. I can make it better.
Yep.
Like I can make it better at home. I
Well,
can
and
make french fries better. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, that's the beauty of it. Like you can find anything, like any type of diet, any type of, want to do something super complicated. I photographed I'm going to butcher this word, a croquembouche. It's like
I don't even know what that is.
it deals with spun sugar, and you build like these cream puffs into a pyramid, and then you do spun sugar around it. That was wild. That was a wild photo shoot.
Was that for
But
your Canadian blogger? Who was that for?
yep, it was for her. I didn't even know what it was, but then I started seeing them all the time. I'm like, I know what that is.
Is that French? Is that a French thing? What
um,
is that?
I honestly don't
That is
know.
definitely not a middle America thing. I can tell
Yeah,
you that. Wow. That is so cool. And so, I mean, you have like, you have the ability to create some really cool things. So even for you, why would
yeah.
like
I've been introduced just I've tried so many different meals that I would have never thought. Like truthfully, it's really helped improve my own diet. Like the things
Mhm.
that my bloggers give me. I'm like, wow, I would never, like have vegetables in that way, and this is so good. And like I'm
Yeah.
discovering all these things that are just amazing. So that's
Yeah.
a cool bonus.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Would you say you need to be a like star chef? Like what do you think the qualifications would
No.
be for like the cooking part? You got to be able to make the food look good, right?
Uh, I I always called myself I was always great at baking and
Mhm.
cooking, but through this all, like I don't think you need any experience. I mean, most of us get, a good basic information as we grow up, right? We get a little bit of experience, but honestly, I think that's really all you need, because you build that experience up as you go. And,
Yeah.
you know, bloggers are really great at communicating with you. Like I said, like I had no idea what that croquembouche thing was. Like she walked me through this, how to, do the spun sugar. And like, that was really wild. Like how you do that. 'Cause you have to like fling this hot sugar everywhere. Like I've never done that before, but it turned out really, amazing. And I would say like my cooking skills and my baking skills have improved significantly since I've been doing this.
I am
So
looking at that like a croquembouche now.
yeah.
Wow. It is
Yeah.
a cone-shaped stack of cream puffs. You're right. So you had to
Mhm.
make the cream puffs yourself, or were those store-bought?
I did make them myself. Yes.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh. And
I
then
did
the
make them
spun
myself.
sugar. Wow. Oh my gosh. It's the celebration cake of France.
Oh, okay.
There we go. It is French.
Mhm.
Wow. I was thinking like a Hawaiian blogger, I don't think would have that. Like
No.
American blogger would not have that. That's got to be the Canadian blogger that
Right?
would have something like that. That's so cool.
My Hawaiian blogger, I actually do all canning shoots for her. And that's been
Really?
really cool. Yeah, I have like a nice stockpile of all these canned goods. Yeah,
Seriously?
it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
I'm like running
is
out of
so
room.
like your people are gonna be like, oh, she must be a
She's a
prepper.
prepper.
You're like,
Yep.
no, I'm a food photographer.
Right?
Would you like some green beans?
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool. So I mean, I mean, who would have thought like a canning blogger and
Yeah.
in Hawaii? That's so cool. And
Right.
Croquembouche. And yeah, you get to do some really cool things. That's
Mhm.
awesome. Oh my goodness. I love it so much. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us and just sharing everything with us. And it's so fun to get to know you. And we're really excited for your business and for you to keep growing. Um, and I know that is going to happen for you. You are going to I mean, I'm excited for the future for you.
Yes. Yep. I believe in,
Um,
like Joanne said, continuing your education and,
yeah.
you know, just keep improving yourself and exploring, new avenues of it. That's why
Yep.
like I want to look into video and
Yeah.
exclusives. And so it's kind of
Yeah.
there's a lot of options. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing with us, and everybody, thank you for being with us tonight. We are almost sold out, so if you're going to join, I would make sure to get enrolled now. Lenore is going to be posting the sales page, or if she hasn't already, in the comments. We close officially on Sunday. But thank you for being here. We always love whenever you can join us for these grad interviews, and we will talk to you later. Bye.